joke, I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Poppin', lockin', stoppin', let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sang. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my Jaeger.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Buzz, a fanatical view. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut. On this, February 4th? February.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like February. It feels more like
I didn't even wear a jacket
April.
into the studio tonight. I mean, it's evening as I'm coming in. Who needs a jacket? But they're saying all of a sudden some surprise snow showing up on the radar overnight.
Might have some delayed opening tomorrow. I don't know.
Perhaps. Could be a messy ride out there in the morning. We'll see. But
It was
nothing,
nice and warm this
nothing
morning.
significant, though.
After that
It's
rain
been up to
last
like
night.
60 degrees this week. I don't know what's going on out here in the Northeast, but we're not getting nothing, which, hey,
That's
I'm
okay by me.
with it.
My back feels better without shoveling
I'm
that.
sure the crossing guard duty is much easier with,
yeah, it is.
with no cold and snow temperatures. We are, of course, here. We were off last week. We were here until 7 o'clock live, so that means the phone lines are open. 203-792-4101, 203-792-4101. Call early, call often, but don't call at all, because we'll just chat it up. Who cares?
Hey,
do we think we need you? We get by without you. Maybe we should just go on the offensive, Bob, and just start saying, you don't want to call, big deal. We don't mind. It's no big deal to us. We can handle it.
It's been so nice and warm. I'm running more summer stuff, on my show.
Yeah. More summer stuff. All right. So officially, let's say hello to my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Broad Jr.
How are you, Scott?
Oh, I'm doing just peachy keen, Bob.
I am too.
Speaking of warm
I'm enjoying
weather.
this weather.
Yeah. Bob's show, Spotlight on Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. You're not going to be showing off some WestCon hoops. I heard you went to. You brought the kids down.
Yeah, I took them to their first basketball game.
Men's basketball game, 86-83 thriller last night.
Yes.
Wow, big win for WestCon. Nice one. I hear those games over on the radio, WXCI 91.7, my favorite college radio station. I hear those games every now and then being called by the kids over there. But it sounds like you got a good one there.
Oh yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, there was 2 points at one time separated them.
Right, so it was right down to the wire, and they had a chance. The opposing team had a long distance shot at a three to tie it, but they just missed that. So good win for WestCon, and good for you guys having a good time. But you got summer stuff on your show?
Yeah, more summer concerts from Bethel.
Unbelievable. Well, we're having some technical difficulties actually with the uploading of shows lately. We apologize to the 3, 4, maybe 6 fans of ours out there on Facebook who keep track of these things and are waiting and wondering, where are the shows? We're working on it. We are working on it. We'll see. Maybe we'll get them up this weekend.
Yeah, because I've had a few emails on, from my Comcast, for a Spotlight on.
Yeah, I get those notifications when people say, comment on the shows they upload for you and all that stuff. All right, Mike Toohey is in the control room running things. Expose Cinema, his show Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. Mike McFadden is here, and he's got plenty of things to say about the Super Bowl. I got his opinions. We'll get to that momentarily.
Strange Man's still in.
Strange Man's still silent, man, but we got some stats from him. I'll have to dig those up. And we are still rolling with the new production assistant extraordinaire, Jenna.
Yes.
And she runs a tight ship.
She does.
Things really get set up smoothly here. No disrespect to Connor. It's just a different deal. We miss him. We hope he's doing well. And
he is.
Maybe we'll see him around one of these days. I don't know. All right, there's that phone number, 203-792-4101. Call. Tell me to shut up and get to the Super Bowl already.
Well, one nice thing was we had the losers. I call it the Losers Bowl. They call it the Pro Bowl.
Was I supposed to watch the Pro Bowl?
Or the Sleeper Bowl.
I did not watch a second of the Pro Bowl. I did not watch a second of the NHL All-Star game.
No, I didn't watch any of that either.
What's the deal with the All-Star game, the NHL? 3-on-3?
Yeah, it does.
And it was all 4 divisions now?
Right.
It was one division versus another in the first period, another division versus another in the second. Winner of those two divisions played out the third, all 3-on-3 for the entire game.
It does make not any bit of sense.
At
least
I know everybody's thrilled about this 3-on-3 in overtime, getting some better results, more exciting play, but 3-on-3 for an entire game, what is that?
We got
a call. All right, let's see who we got. Hello, did that work? Not working. Hello? Do we have a call? Can you send that call through? I am not getting it. Hello, do we have a call here?
How you doing?
Doing very well. Who do we got on the line?
Joe Jet Met.
Oh, our old friend Joe Jet Met. What's happening there, Joe Jet Met? Nice to see that you're tuning in. I was getting ready to give a plug later as we talk about the Super Bowl to your son Andreas. He played the Madden 16 version of the Super Bowl, and we'll have that result for you later as we give our predictions. What's going on? What's on your mind there, Joe Jet Met?
Well, I was watching. I wasn't sure if it was a talk show you went into or it was just still a sports show for a second.
Well, we got off track a little bit. We've been away for 2 weeks. We kind of forgot where we were at. We just decided to ramble on and catch up. Do you want to join the conversation, as they say out there in social media land?
My son here wanted to know if you wanted to come and do a live broadcast of the Park and Rec morning game.
Oh, well, is this Mateo, his son Mateo? How about this, Bob? What?
Okay, I'm
15
listening.
points this past weekend and double digits in the rebound department in a 1-point victory. So they needed every one of those rebounds and points from the big man down low. But he's a regular Moses Malone.
What's
double.
What's their record?
Mateo Shabu. I don't know. We don't know what the record is. These kids never keep track of what the record is.
Just curious.
What? Maybe I'll have to bring a camera down there and do a little something.
Yeah, maybe we could do that with someone.
Well, we just wanted to chime in. We think some of these games are better than the ones your conference. So we share the love.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching and we appreciate you calling. I'll be seeing you soon, as a matter of fact. So I will check you later. You got anything else you want to add? Do you have a
do you have a Super Bowl pick?
I have a Super Bowl pick. Are you still there, Joe Jet Met?
Nah, I'm going with the Jets. I'm a diehard. Do or die.
Jets.
Jets are not. We want to know for Carolina or.
Jets all the way. Joe stays true to his Jets, and that's the way it goes. All right, Joe. Well, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later. All right, we're out of there. We got a call. How about it worked? We got angry at the callers, and they called. All right, let's get to the Super Bowl because we're going to run out of time. Super Bowl 50. Being held in Santa Clara, California, not San Francisco, even though everybody's camped out in San Francisco, but the game is in the new stadium out there in Santa Clara. So Super Bowl 50, Bob, Carolina Panthers, their second trip, Denver Broncos, their 8th trip.
Right.
It's the Cam Show versus the Sheriff, as Tui jumps the gun on my Super Bowl history pictures. But let me ask this quick question first.
Okay.
So it's the top all-around team, Carolina, which I feel they should absolutely win this game. But you never know, and things get tricky sometimes, especially when everybody's picking one team like they are picking Carolina. Versus the top defense, and the Broncos, we know, played a pretty good defensive game against the Patriots in that championship game. And remember, 2 years ago when they came in, Broncos had the top offense. That did not work out so well.
Right.
So they are trying a different approach. But when did it become commonplace for everybody to call Peyton Manning the Sheriff? In the last 2-3 weeks, all I hear is, it's the Sheriff. It's the Sheriff. Have I been missing something?
I don't know.
I have never heard him been referred to as the Sheriff ever.
Me either.
All of a sudden, everybody, including his opponents, we're going up against the Sheriff. And all the guys on TV, it's the Sheriff. Where did that come from? All right, I just had to get that off my chest.
He isn't riding in on a big white horse. I don't think so.
Broncos, we mentioned 8th trip to the bowl, 1977, Orange Crush, led by Craig Morton. They went up against the Dallas Cowboys, and they did end up getting crushed in that game. That was one of the first beatdowns they suffered. Remember, Craig Morton was a former Cowboy himself.
That's true.
And he led Denver to their first trip way back in '77. Then Elway came along in the mid-'80s, and he led them to 3 out of 4 years trips. 1986, you'll remember very well, the
Yes,
Phil
I will.
Simms almost perfect game, right?
Yep.
Giants 39-20 beatdown of the Broncos in '86. '87, it was the Doug Williams game from the Redskins. First black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And this year, of course, Cam Newton, a black quarterback in the Super Bowl going up against him. So they know the history of this. Redskins with the crushing blow, 42-10. Guess where I watched that game, Bob?
Where'd you watch it?
At the home of one Fatty Roots,
Oh,
Mikey
really?
Dreadlock Rasta. His dad and older brother, huge Redskins fans as they used to live in D.C., and they were pumped for that 42-10 beatdown at the hand of the Redskins. 1989, San Francisco 49ers, and this was an epic destruction, 55-10.
Yeah.
Wow, huge blowout. But then the year after, the Patriots lost to the Packers for the 13th straight time, an AFC team losing
Right.
to an NFC team. Remember that streak, Bob, that went
do.
on? NFC domination for some time. The Broncos, Elway gets it done, 31-24. That was one of the great Super Bowls of
Oh, it
all
was.
time, I think, personally. An excellent, great game. And there we see that huge play by Elway as he kept it and dove for a first down by the goal line, set up a touchdown late in that game and ended the streak. And then they went back-to-back, 1998. Remember the Eugene Robinson game. Versus the Falcons. What happened to him the night before? Not good. 34-19. I was in my first year living in Atlanta at that time, actually, Bob, and I was down there buying into the Dirty Bird hype. And that ended pretty quickly as Elway hit Rod Smith with the bomb over Robinson's head early. They went up early and they cruised to a 34-19 easy victory. But then Manning comes to town 2 years ago against the Seahawks, and it was back to blowout city, 43-8. As we mentioned, they came in with the top offense, but it was the defense for Seattle and special teams and all-around good offensive performance, which brings me to this matchup right here, right now, Bob. I think it's a pretty much carbon copy. If you think about it, in the AFC Championship game that year, it was played in Denver against the Patriots. The Patriots were banged up all over the place throughout that entire season, did a miraculous job even getting to the AFC Championship that year. I think they did a more miraculous job that year because they had the great start this year with relative health as the defending champs. But we know as they came down the stretch, things fell apart with injuries. They got some guys back. They didn't get guys back in the offensive line, however, and that showed crucially in the game. So the Broncos beat up on a banged-up Patriots team, went to the Super Bowl, got crushed by a team that was far superior, and I think Carolina is the same way. Let's get to some of their history for Carolina. Their second trip, speaking of games played against the Patriots. Panthers in 2004 lost to the Patriots, who got their second Super Bowl championship that year in a thrilling 32-29 game. Remember the fourth quarter of that game, Bob? 19-18 in the fourth. Carolina actually outscored the Patriots by 1 point in hot Houston as players were falling by the wayside in the heat with the roof closed. It was actually a pretty comfortable weather day there, and they should have left the roof open. Instead, they closed it, and the heat was on, no AC or something, and guys were cramping all over the place. In the fourth quarter, it turned into a shootout with Jake Delhomme and Tom Brady getting it done, and Adam Vinatieri cementing himself in Super Bowl lore with his second game-winning kick. Before they ended up getting their third one the next year against the Eagles. So Panthers are going back, this time looking to close the deal. I think it is basically the same scenario we saw a couple years ago. The only thing that's different is that everybody is picking Carolina this year, where the other year everybody was on Denver's bandwagon with Peyton being there for the first time, the high-flying offense, Seattle unproven at the time. So that is the big difference, and that is the big concern. You know, as we previewed the game the other week, Patriots Broncos, I told everybody who was picking the Patriots, not so fast. When everybody picks one team and the game's being played in Denver, you're not sure what's going to happen.
Right.
I was pretty certain what was going to happen. It was going to be a Patriots loss because they never win in Denver, and the history proved once again that was the way it was going to go. But this is a neutral field, Bob.
Right.
I don't know what you feel about this game. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think
And
if
there we
they
see
get,
the extra point that was missed.
let's put it this
Brutal.
way: if Carolina gets to Peyton early,
Right.
and he's done.
Yeah, well, we know Peyton can't stand the pressure if he goes down and gets hit hard in this game. And the Panthers, I mean, this is the deal. We talk about top all-around team against the top defense. They have defense. They've got good guys, although McFadden out there thinks their secondary can be thrown on. Only problem I would say with that is, can Manning actually throw the ball, or is he just going to throw ducks that miraculously don't get intercepted? Watching the games, it's like, where is the defense? The ball floats out there for an hour, and you
Right.
just figure the defense is going to run under it and knock it down or pick it up. But they have defense for Carolina. They have a great running game. Remember, the Broncos' defense was geared up for the pass rush, an 8-man secondary against a weak Patriots offensive line who couldn't run as well and were just going to pass, and that game plan worked. But they're not going to be able to run that same game plan against a Carolina team
No.
that can run it with running backs and a quarterback who's rushed for over 1,000 yards, I believe. So, it's going to be a totally different deal. And when he has to, he can throw the ball. And they have weapons, a great tight end, and some other sneaky good wide receivers as well. I just worry about this game staying close and somehow some crazy 50th Super Bowl anniversary, some crazy story with Manning going out on top like Elway did. Some, sort of fix, if you will. Of course,
We
NFL
never,
games
wait.
never
We don't have
NFL
no,
never games
there's,
get
there's
fixed.
never
do they?
any fixes in football, right?
Oh,
no.
wait. No, that's right. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, we don't have the Deflate Gate or.
But if you think about it, Bob, Carolina, forget the Seattle comeback in the second half. They were up 31-0 on Seattle, a far superior team, I think, as a well-rounded bunch than Denver. And then they crushed Arizona 49-15, 7 turnovers in that game for Arizona. Unbelievable. Just utter destruction they put on these two teams. And Arizona, really, in my opinion, was the second best team in football this year. Once the Patriots started racking up the injuries, it was Arizona and Carolina had the best seasons of the year, and they just completely manhandled them. The spread is 5.5. It started at 3.5. And everybody's picking Carolina as well.
I figure it'll be within 10 points.
I believe Carolina, even though I'm scared about the fact everyone's picking Carolina, I do believe they're going to get it done. And if Andreas Shabu, we just heard from Joe Jetmet on the phone, his other son, played it out. I watched it. And despite his poor coaching decisions, I was trying to help him out.
Yeah.
He was throwing Hail Marys when they in the first quarter because he felt it was a good play. But still, even with his poor coaching decisions, Carolina handled Denver in the game.
What was
in
the score?
Madden. I don't know what the final was, but it was a runaway. I walked away in the fourth quarter as they clearly were running away from it. So if it's up to Madden, who played it out, it's going to be that. Should I mention the fact that also hanging in the clouds, with nobody really wanted to talk about it, some so-called possible, is there going to be an investigation into the HGH that was delivered to Peyton Manning's house to his wife? Are we actually going to dig that up? I mean, there is an investigation going on. Is the media going to,
we'll wait till after the Super Bowl.
Well, Chris Collinsworth isn't doing the game. He's not going to be able to say like he did in the fourth quarter, I looked into Brady's eyes and said, did you deflate those footballs? While they're trying to come back in the game. He's not going to be able to say, I looked into Manning's eyes. Yeah. Did you take the HGH?
Yeah.
Okay, he's not going to be able to do that. Well, Phil Simms do it because he's the one getting the game, right?
Right.
All right, let's move on. We got about 10 minutes. Let's get to a couple other things. We should mention real quick, well, I'll have to look up Strange Man's Silent Stats of the Week. I don't know if I'm going to get to those. But he did mention, of course, that Sports Buzz is the top show on Comcast Cable Channel 23.
Yeah.
He also mentioned that pitchers and catchers, 2 weeks.
Huh?
Cespedes re-signs with the Mets. You guys got to be happy about that, right?
Oh, yes. That's the number one, as you can see in the back there.
I think I may have got to some of his stuff already. Age difference. Oh, here we go. Manning, 13 years, 48 days older than the Cam Show. Fig Newton, he's calling him. And that was pretty much it. All right. So we got that one out. All right, quick little basketball thing. UConn, 58-57 loss to Cincinnati the other night. It was a tough one at home. 3-point play, traditional. 2 points, hoop and the harm in the lane for Cincinnati to give them the victory with 12 seconds left. UConn could not get the basket after that to win it. So that was a tough one. They did bounce back with a nice win, 67-41 against UCF. They sit at 15-6, 5-3 AAC, not receiving votes, Bob.
No.
All those votes are going to those so-called Big East teams and all those other teams that have jumped leagues and changed divisions, all that stuff.
I heard there was a fall from grace.
Unbelievable, Bob. How many losses did it take? But Duke finally, for once and for all, maybe, at least for once, out of the top 25. Losing 3 straight didn't do it, but 4 out of 5 sure did. Finally, the pollsters knocked them out. They also sit at 15-6. Same record as UConn. Interesting. And UConn plays tonight, Thursday, primetime, 9 p.m. at Memphis. They beat Memphis earlier in the year. They're looking to get that done on the road tonight, sweep the season series. We'll see. Number 1, Oklahoma. Number 2, North Carolina, although they did lose to Louisville the other night. Number 3, Villanova. I mean, come on. We've been watching this for the last 2 years. Villanova doesn't lose any games anymore, although Providence finally beat them. They had won every single Big East game since the realignment of the Big East. Is that a coincidence, Bob? Give me a break.
Yeah.
They don't play UConn. They don't play Pitt. They don't play Louisville.
Right.
They don't play West Virginia.
Right.
They don't play any of these teams anymore, and they don't lose anymore, and the pollsters vote them to the top 3?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Give me a break. They're going to go out in the first round of the Big Dance again, like they always do. They stink. Yeah. Maryland, number 4. They stink as well. Number 5, Iowa. I mean, look at that. Oklahoma, North Carolina, who lost, as I mentioned, Nova, Maryland, Iowa. That's your top 5?
Yeah.
The pollsters don't know what to do, Bob. They're rattled. They have no idea. Xavier, 6. Kansas, 7. Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Is Johnny Manziel playing basketball?
He might be. You never know.
Virginia, 9. Michigan State, Sparty.
Yeah, 10, down to 10.
Providence, 11. SMU, the long AAC team, at 12. How about this for hypocrisy, Bob? SMU, they got some recruiting violations, right?
Right.
So Larry Brown, who everybody, the NCAA always is after him, they're banned from postseason play. How about Syracuse running a drug program for how many years?
Orangeman have been banged
Boeheim
up.
gets a 9-game suspension, but they're allowed to play in postseason play. How about North Carolina running a fraudulent education system for, 15, 20 years that everybody knows about? Where's their ban? It's not there, but SMU can't play in the Big Dance this year. Give me a break. NBA, Celtics knocked off the Knicks, who are struggling,
the
losing
bricks
to
have
5
been
of 6 after they had pulled to 500. They're now 23-28. Celtics in 4th place at 29-22, winners of 7 of 8 as they get to face off with Bron, Pawn James, who is now, I believe, is he the coach now for Cleveland?
He might well be. He does everything. He supposedly does everything
Blatt
else.
Fired. No matter that they're in 1st place, he's out. Blatt is gone. But Celtics face off with Cleveland on Friday night in Cleveland. Cavs have won 5 straight after the firing of Blatt. I guess maybe it was that blowout to Golden State, down by 40 in that game. Remember, we talked about that. Golden State backed that up with a 30-point victory over San Antonio, Bob. 45-4. If we check the records, the Bulls were 43-5 at this time, so they're ahead of that pace to try to get to that magical 72-win mark on the season. Do you think they can do it?
It's possible.
They beat the Knicks the other night as well, 116-95, a second quarter that saw them score 37 points, and Steph Curry, there we see him. He didn't even score a single basket in that second quarter, and they put 37 up. Wow. Should we talk about Blake Griffin and his punching out of a staffer for the Clippers? We'll leave that alone. Maybe
how about the train wreck out there we were talking about before the show?
Who's that?
out there in the other side of the.
The Fakers?
Yeah.
Well, that's a train wreck of epic proportions. I don't know. Were we talking about somebody else though?
Oh no, we were talking about the West.
How the
about-
West in Oklahoma City's
Yeah.
division? How
One
Portland's
team.
making a little run towards 500, but everybody's below 500 in the Northwest with OKC. Only lone team out there above 500. All right, we got to keep moving because we got not much time
Little
left, I would
hockey.
imagine. Hockey, Bruins, around that All-Star game, they get beat up before the All-Star game, and then they blow a 3-1 lead coming out of the All-Star game. Not good, although they do remain tied for second place in the Atlantic, Bob. 58 points tied with Tampa Bay and Detroit. The Panthers, led by Jaromir Jagr, one of my all-time favorites, at 65 points, remain on top of the Atlantic. Your Rangers come out of that All-Star break losing to the Devils.
Oh, that was a game. We
3-2
were watching
loss,
that.
right?
We were watching that Tuesday night.
Not good.
No.
They remain in second, however, with 59 points in the Metropolitan Division. Icelanders at third with 58. New Jersey having a pretty decent season, hanging around, tied for fourth place with Pittsburgh right now at 57 points. So they're all three of those teams, the
Yeah.
metropolitan area teams, are vying for a playoff spot with Pittsburgh. Who's below them? Carolina at 54, Philadelphia at 52. They got work to do to make sure they stay in that playoff spot. How about a little tennis to finish off the show,
Sure.
Bob?
How's-
Australian
how's-
Open,
how's-
down under.
How's Venus doing? Is it?
Venus didn't do much of anything. She went out early.
Oh.
But it was Serena making
I
it to
meant.
the final, looking to tie Steffi Graf with 22 Grand Slam victories. She's going to have to wait till the French Open to get that 22nd
Yeah.
because Angelique Kerber, number 7 in the world, came up with her first ever Grand Slam title, 6-4, 3-6, 6-4. Knocks her off in the final. And on the men's side, it was Novak Djokovic getting his 6th all-time Australian Open title, beating Andy Murray, who just cannot win the majors. He got that one at Wimbledon that year, but can't really do much more than that. 6-1, 7-5, 7-6, tiebreaker in the third, 7-3. So he could not get it done. How about this, Djokovic? 3 slam titles in a row dating back to last year, won 4 of the last 5, and 11 total for him, tying
wave
Bjorn
bye-bye.
Borg and Rod Laver for 5th
Okay.
all time. We will be back next week.
We will
Thanks
have
for
the.
tuning in.
We'll have the recap of the Super Bowl,
Yes, we will see what happens. I am picking Carolina.
and so am I.
We'll see. I believe it'll be a blowout, but stranger things have
I think
happened.
it will be within 10 points.
10 points, Bob says. All right, the credits are rolling. We're out of here.